Good evening and welcome to Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. I'm Madhav Das Gopalakrishnan. Viewers, it's a massive Times Now news break. After the Delhi blast, your channel brought you every detail of the investigation. How it was planned, how the doctors had put in surgical precision in their planning and procuring of weapons and ammunition with an intent of a big blast. The D6 plan. 6 cities on their radar with a mission of a big impact. Today, we will reveal a chilling chronology of how it all happened, of how there is an imprint of the merchant of death from Kashmir, Noor Mohammad Tantre, and how the doctors were not just self-radicalized, but also indoctrinating others in the medical fraternity. And the most chilling of them all, the weapons, the money trail of how the doctors pooled in their own hard-earned money for the cause of spreading terror in India. Here's our first exclusive news break on Blueprint Explosive Exclusive. Times Now has accessed exclusive details of the interrogation of Dr. Muzammil Shakeel, the Pulwama-based medical professional, and Mufti Irfan Wage, the Maulvi, arrested with weapons, explosive material, and IED components. Muzammil's disclosures to the agencies have exposed a deeply embedded radical network operating across Haryana, Kashmir and Uttar Pradesh, using medical professionals as covert foot soldiers. Interestingly, a month after Tantre's killing, the man known as Merchant of Death in Kashmir, Dr. Muzammil Shakeel, contacted Maulvi Irfan. He claimed an association with the slain Tantre, and that's how this terror network came together. Hashim later contacted him on Telegram, with all communication taking place via encrypted software, that is, of course, Telegram. Let's quickly take this across to my colleagues. Priyank is joining us at the moment. Bhavtor Singh also joining us. But Priyank, coming to you first. They were using the platform Telegram. That's how, in fact, this individual named Hashim tried contacting them. But even before that, these individuals were contacted by Tantre, a terrorist known as Merchant of Death. But before they could take things further, he was gunned down by security forces. Take our viewers through what exactly is the chronology of how this entire terror group came into being. Priyank.
See, Madhav, in fact, Mufti was also blocked by one of the Telegram channel handler when he tried to dig out more detail about him and he wanted to personally meet him. Later to that, he got in touch with Tantre and Tantre wanted him to join Lashkar, but he was killed by the security forces in the year 2021. Since then, he started building up his resources with other handlers, and then he started his own module, which was basically comprising of all these doctors who were from the valley and many of them who were also not from the valley. So there was a sinister plot where these suspects were trying to build up. Over the period of many years, 3 to 4 years, they had also developed this kind of rift after this money of 26 lakh was procured by them. What they claim that this money was given to Umar for procurement of these vehicles as well as the material which should have been there for making explosives. Then the rift grew further, and later to that they had also formed a new signal channel group where they used to communicate, but the rift still continued. And what you can certainly say, Madhav, after what we have got to know through this IR, which is the interrogation report detail, that these suspects who are there and the terrorists who are there in the custody of the JKP have been shifting their owners on Umar, who is now no more. Okay. So whatever they claim that they were united, but the kind of coaching detail which we are getting to know, it is clearly showing there was a rift and they still want to live while their partners of crime have died.
Bhavtosh also continues to be with us. Let's try and break down for our viewers what exactly has been stated and what exactly is the story that we're putting on viewers. Now, this is a terror plot that involves around these main characters. We're talking about Dr. Muzammil Shakeel, Dr. Umar Nawi, as well as Dr. Shaheen Shahid and Dr. Adil Rathar. At the center of it all is this Maulvi Irfan Wage. And he is the person who has influenced them down this path of terror. Of course, there are other handlers from other agencies, etc., who are also involved with this, some even across the border, as we are told. But before they were into collecting all of the explosives, these terrorists also had access to weapons. And that is where things become extremely serious. Maulvi Irfan met Mushtaq of Chanapura, who handed him a pistol, but dumped it at Eidgah in Anantnag. This is a pistol that was then handed over to Arif Nisar Dar. While Arif fired a test round, he panicked and then returned it. On October 2023, Dr. Adil and Dr. Umar visited the Masjid Ali and brought the AK-47 in November 2023. We see Adil once again coming with an AK-47. This is what we are told. There's also the fact that after this, they met with Dr. Muzammil and Dr. Shaheen. So the weapons are also something that they had. The weapons trail, in fact, that we need to talk about is, as we've been telling you about these various meetings that have taken place. Maulvi Irfan meeting Mushtaq, receiving a pistol later. Maulvi Irfan receiving a shotgun from Zamir. And in October 2023, Adil and Omar met Maulvi Irfan. Adil and Omar bought an AK-47 to meet Irfan, and in November 2023, Adil collects this AK-47 back from Irfan. Let me take this right back, in fact, to who we have with us. All right, let me take this across to our guest now. With us is Yashovardhan Azad, former IPS officer. Yashovardhan Azad is with us. We also have SP Vaid, former DGP of Jammu and Kashmir. Major General Sanjay Kulkarni, defense analyst, is with us. And Tara Karta is director of CLAWS. Let me quickly come across to you first. Yashovardhan Azad, just look at the details that have come out. Dr. Muzammil Shakeel is singing like a canary. He's spilling the beans. And what is quite concerning is that the tentacles of this network appear to be far and wide. There's been an attempt to influence doctors in various parts of the country is what's coming out.
Absolutely true. In fact, also the other module, which is about ricin, in that the doctors have reached as far as Telangana. So this is a very, very dangerous module, there's no doubt, and the extent of radicalization extremely frightful. There's no doubt about it. But then, you know, a thing like this was developing for the last 2 years, and it's really unfortunate that none of the state intelligence agencies or even the IB got a whiff of it. But thank God it has saved lives. And yes, but you know, at the center of all this are these Maulvis who have done the radicalization, whether it's in Jammu and Kashmir, whether it's in Faridabad, or whether it's in UP. And I think it's now extremely important to take this message across India to be very, very careful as the kind of radicalization all these Maulvis are doing. And from there also, we'll get a lot of names of more doctors who have been caught in this net, because radicalization is an extremely, determined process. It's a kind of indoctrination. It doesn't only is in confined spaces, but it grows over you. It talks about a purified Islam, which is even more dangerous than the ordinary Islamization that we are talking about.
Let me bring in Mr. SP Vaid as well. Mr. SP Vaid, this individual called Tantri, a terrorist who had tried to contact one of the accused in the current case, take us through his background, because this very clearly shows that here were individuals who are in touch with hardened terrorists who are very much part, of the entire process of trying to influence other young minds and radicalize them. Mr. Vaid.
Thank you for having me. This Maulvi hails from South Kashmir, Shopaiya, and the kind of Jamaat-e-Islami these people in South Kashmir is, we know post Burhan Wani how things turned so bad in South Kashmir in particular. So the huge influence of South Kashmir in this belt of Jammu Kashmir Valley of Jamaat-e-Islami, and this Maulvi was instrumental in radicalizing most of these doctors who were basically Kashmir-based. And then look at the tentacle. This is a very well-planned terror module of doctors Pakistan had actually, the ISI had nurtured, and this time they were very particular that instead of sending Pakistani terrorists with weapons from across, why not use local resource from here itself, procure local material so that it cannot be tracked down to Pakistan, because they knew that India's policy of after Pahalgam, that any terror incident in India will be taken as an act of war.
Right.
So Asim Munir, though got encouraged with Donald Trump hosting him lunch, with China also on his side and his complete hold on Pakistan today, he was looking for an opportunity, revenge for major terror incidents in the mainland of India.
Absolutely.
And that is what they were planning. But unfortunately, it is sheer accident that we were able to, from that poster incident, pasting a poster of the Jaish-e-Mohammed, the whole network was actually unearthed.
Yes,
so
this is due credit to the officers who actually helped unearth that and crack it. But certainly, of course, why we need to be more vigilant is quite evident. But I want to bring in Tara Karta. Tara Karta, just look at the very fact. It was not just explosives. These are individuals who've been accessing weapons from pistols to AK-47s. It's all out there. And it's these Maulvis and others who are part of it. In fact, one of the information that we just put out is the fact that there was even firing of a particular pistol, after which one of them got concerned about whether he should use it or not. These are the individuals. Here are doctors who are actually engaging with these kind of elements and, of course, even using these weapons. Would request you to unmute yourself and speak, ma'am.
Yeah, there is, what you notice is, like, say you and I, supposing you want to do something in a rage, do we know where to get a pistol from? We have absolutely no idea. So there, in terms of terrorism, if you want to perpetrate, you have to have a criminal link. So there will be a bunch of, I think even in parts of the Jammu-Kashmir border, you've had these arms smuggling rings, you've had a bunch of these people, which is usually associated with violence and things. So this guy, perhaps through Tantre, who was also a sort of a hybrid terrorist, if you want to call him that, and I think he was killed in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. So he clearly had some links to know where to access a weapon from. So I stand to be, it's not like I said, if you can get the weapon and you've tested it and you've done, then you are already in that web where you can do multiple, to get ammonium nitrate, for instance, it's not something that anybody just walks into a place and gets a bunch of it. So there is this criminal link. I would look at the money laundering link as well, to see where else this is going. And I'm pretty sure that's what NI is doing right now, to see how money was moved.
Right. And let me bring in fact, Major General Kulkarni on this. Major General Kulkarni, here are individuals who are so highly motivated. They've pulled in their own resources. 26 lakhs is what they've collected to carry out such an attack. Not just procuring, of course, that huge amount of ammonium nitrate, but the very fact that they are so focused that they've managed to pull in their own resources just goes to show how organized and how collected their thoughts are.
Thank you, Madhav. First, at the very outset, let me tell you, I'm sure that physical appearances also don't inspire confidence. The statements emanating from the politicians in the valley don't sort of give any ability of confidence coming out from there. You see the complete indoctrination, radicalization is something, this particular module has been functioning much before what's happened in Operation Sindhu. So it is not that it has cropped up just now. They've been on into it for the last about 2 or 3 years. Then the Maulvis over there. I've been posted there for so many years, in and out. I don't understand Arabic, neither can I read Urdu, nor do I understand Kashmiri. So you see, there are so many of us like this over there in the valley who probably are operating without knowing their language and what they are writing and what they are scribbling. So until and unless you have ruined their eyes and ears into all these Maulvis, because their real source is this Maulvis. Because whether it is, earlier we had that Duktarane Millat for some women organizations on Twitter. Now we find that Masood Azhar's sister runs another organization called the Morimata and all that kind. These organizations, you have to have a strict eye to say that this white collar kind of thing, it was always there. It was only they. I've seen with the way they were. You have one of these kind of people in a family, the kind of goodwill that is generated by that family in that village, in and around, is astounding. You can have one militant, you can have a doctor in the family, you can have an engineer in the family, you can have a teacher in the family, because there's 6, 7 siblings. And one of them is this character who allows that entire family to have a huge house. You cannot even imagine. I can't have that kind of a house today after having put 40 years in the Indian Army. So this is what is happening there. Do you ever find a Kashmiri? I have not seen anyone begging. I have not seen a house without a light. I have not seen a house without a water. Then if that be the kind of prosperity, what is it that is leading it? Total indoctrination, total radicalization. And these Maulvis are the ones, the money that is flowing, the weapons that are coming into them. Until and unless you have a strict eye, and these anti-national forces are there in the valley. Because, as I said, none of them generate confidence. You see the kind of statement. Isn't this a golden opportunity for the politicians in the valley or for the people of Kashmir to come out and say, well, we stand with the country and we hate this and we will not let this happen. No. What are the statements emanating? No, please don't pick up people. No, don't do this, don't do that. This thing will happen, that thing will happen. Everybody is not a terrorist. What kind of statements are they emanating? This was a golden opportunity for the people of Kashmir. And for that, I have always said, and until and unless we have a minister for
just 1 minute, sir. We have some breaking news coming in. These are details of what sources are telling us were the arguments of the NIA. In fact, they have alleged that the accused was associated with the deceased accused involved in the conspiracy of terror activities. Amir Rashid Ali, the arrested individual, also provided a safe house to deceased suicide bomber Umarun Nabi and was involved in terror activities of Umarun Nabi, which were done with precision and intensity to cause panic and alarm in the minds of the public. Bhavtosh Singh is joining us for more on this. Bhavtosh, this is what the NIA has said while his custody papers were submitted in the court, and he is also going to be taken to Jammu and Kashmir, we understand.
Yes, Madhav. In fact, after 8 days, some parts of this puzzle are being at least being solved. What NIA has told the court is something which is very mind-boggling. What they have said that this case is that of terror conspiracy and terror activities. They have said that the accused arrested provided a safe house to Omar, and they have also said that not only he purchased the car, but he also, in fact, managed to fit vehicle-borne improvised explosive devices. They have called Omar a suicide bomber. Importantly, they have said that this case was to carry out a terror attack with a precision strike so that it spreads panic and alarm among Indians. And importantly, they have said that they will be taking the accused to Jammu and Kashmir so that certain places can be identified. They have also said that the whole idea was to create panic so that the sovereignty and unity of the country can be affected. The court has given 10 days custody to NIA, and it's likely that once he is produced in the court, his custody remand will be extended as NIA demands more custody of the accused.
All right, Bhavtosh, thanks so much for joining us with that quick update. Let me take this across, in fact, to our guest once again. Mr. Azad, I want to come back to you on one point. What we are told from the interrogation of one of the individuals, that is Mufti Irfan Wage, he has come out to say that his handlers blocked him in August 2023 because he demanded that that particular handler called Hashim reveal his identity, but he refused personal contact and blocked him. And that's when he decided to make a doctor terror network. How easy it is to not just radicalize an individual, but once radicalized, this individual wants to form his own terror network. It's absolutely mind-boggling.
Yes, because it was reported that two of them had traveled to Turkey. And from Turkey, there was an action plan which had been prepared. So the action plan remained the same, and perhaps the funding sources also, which they were supposed to get from Turkey, did not materialize, and that's why they collected 26 lakhs on themselves, because, the cost of 2,900 kgs ammonium nitrate would itself come out to about 11 or about 12 lakhs. But this is remarkable, one thing, because when this module was developing for 2 years in those two rooms, I think 13 and 20 in Al-Falah, there were so many doctors around, there were so many, gatekeepers, security, dean, and yet nobody said a word and nobody came out. So now that the NIA is investigating, these people are coming out or forced to come out, and you're coming with mind-boggling details. You can imagine that how many times the cars would have gone to new area and brought back ammonium nitrate, and every time how they were putting it up and storing it. That itself is a puzzle in itself. Absolutely. So I think all this coming out, I think the most important thing I would be very keen on is first I thought that the funding would be sourced from Turkey or something through cryptocurrency or whatever. But now you say that the collection has been done 26 lakhs already. So where were the other sources of pending? And also how many cars were involved? Are there more than 4 cars? So I think this must be taken into consideration by the NIA.
And you know, one thing, Mr. Ved, I want you to come in on this, because here are individuals who are in a hostel room, you know, they were planning this, plotting this, and at another location, they were collecting all this ammonium nitrate. Now, that itself, of course, is curious. But the second question is that they are communicating on a platform such as Telegram, and yet nobody gets to know about this. So, you know, how are we looking at tackling issues related to terror when there are these modern communication apps such as Telegram? Are they not being monitored effectively enough? What's the way forward, Mr. Ved?
I think we have organizations like NTRO which keeps tab on such secure communication networks also. But it is definitely very difficult for a normal investigating agency to keep a tab. They are very, very scheduled. I think this particular module they had planned with a great depth, and surprising is, as Jashovardhan he was mentioning, that all this was going on in the Al Falah University, in the money being collected, all the doctors in Kashmir, and no one even lets any agency know it. Local police or intelligence agency, none of us get even a wind of it. That's the point I was mentioning. Wasn't it just a providence that from one incident, a poster, pasting a poster of Jaish Muhammad, the team of J&K police was able to unravel this whole module, terror module, spread in 4 or 5 northern states and have international ramifications, including Turkey, Afghanistan, Pakistan's ISI handler, and then even Bangladesh. So all this, not a win to any intelligence agency or any police force.
Yeah.
If this had not happened, imagine if J&K police, that team, had not picked up this, taken it seriously, a small thing which could have been ignored, pasting up a poster.
Absolutely. In fact, there is so much that has happened as a, due to that one particular discovery or that one particular tip-off that certainly, of course, really highlights why we need to be on our toes. But what's very interesting, Tara Karta, it's not happened for the first time, but Dr. Muzammil in custody has shifted the entire blame for the blast on Dr. Omar, saying that he ran away with the 26 lakhs.
Well, that's very convenient. I would say nothing less. Muzammil is, I mean, incidentally on this, finding other, finding on how come they operated in this place without anybody knowing. I just want to recall one incident. There was a fake currency racket which was next to my house in Vasant Kunj. Nobody knew. That was going on for years. So it can happen. So let's not, I understand a couple of doctors who were interrogated have now been released, which is a good thing. We can't assume that everybody around that place knew. I mean, that university by itself is very shady, which is obvious from its owner. But in terms of, I'm just looking at the series of events. He tries to, he gets this gun. He's got some contact with terrorists. He manages to get a weapon. Then he tries to get this module. All this took a long time. We know it was longer than 2 years. Then he puts posters, right? Which means he was probably waiting for a sort of great popular insurrection and then set off the mod.
Anyway, we will perhaps it's only when they finally file the charge sheet we'll know the exact chain of events. We'll have to leave it there. Completely out of time. Jashovardhan Azad, SP Ved, Page Journal Sanjay Kulkarni, Tara Karta. I'd like to thank all of you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us this evening.